So for my mini lesson for this week, I chose to do a math lesson on meteorology and the measures of center and spread. The main goal of the lesson was for the students to become meteorologists who would report data for a location of their choice. So one of the standards that we've been working on in 6th grade is the statistics unit, and just talking about the measures of center and the measures of variation and how they can describe the data overall in terms of the center of the data and how it's spread out. And the students use this information to create a meteorology report for the weather in the location they chose. Some essential questions were, how can I determine the measures of center and the measures of spread? How does a measure of spread differ from a measure of center? How do outliers affect the measures of spread and center? And how does variability relate to measures of spread? Some resources the students will need. They'll need the You Are the Meteorologist Directions and Data Table Google Doc, You Are the Meteorologist Example Presentation Slides. They'll need weather.com, the project rubric, and the reflection Google form at the end. And these are all things that I will show throughout this presentation. In terms of digital tools, this main digital tool, or the tool that would launch the project, is the Google Doc. So the Google Doc will have the student directions in it, as well as a table that the students can use to input their data for their high temperatures, their low temperatures, and their percent of precipitation for the next 10 days when they're looking at that 10-day forecast. It just acts as a place for them to house all that data so they're not losing it or writing it on pieces of paper that they have to keep up with or whatever it may be. The next digital tool that the students are going to use is Google Slides or Canva. They can choose which one they would like to use to create their presentation, and I'll go over an example presentation slide momentarily, but they will create a separate presentation for their high temperatures, their low temperatures, and their percent of precipitation for that location. So each one of those will have their own slide displaying the data. The students will use Screencastify to create their meteorology weather reports. These reports are really going to serve as the climax of the lesson, just ensuring that the students are able to take all the information that they received and talk about it in a way that's related to the weather and how these measures of center and spread can translate into a weather report in terms of the average temperature for the week, and the range in temperatures for the week. Are the temperatures close together? Is the weather going to be about the same for the whole week? Does it have a lot of ups and downs or any outliers in that data? Lastly, the students will use a Google form to reflect on the lesson and just provide me with any feedback that would help me improve this lesson for future years. So this is a screenshot of the Google Doc template that the students will receive. And as you can see, it has a link to weather.com in it. It has them type in the location that they're choosing. It gives them a screenshot of what the 10-day weather forecast can look like, and also reminds them of the different things they'll have to find using their data. Once they scroll down, they'll see this table right here where they can input their data for the next 10 days for the high and low temperatures and percent of precipitation. In terms of their presentation slide, students will have access to this example presentation slide. And this was just created by me to give them an idea of how to display their data. I really wanted them to embody what the data was talking about. So for my example, for Aruba, I chose to use suns because the temperature is really sunny. We have high temperatures. I included pictures just to give a good description of what the weather in that area is going to be like. For any students who may need it, they also have this template presentation slide. I do have some students who are intimidated or overwhelmed by having to place all of their information on a template on a slide without any template. And so this just provides them with a place to put all of their information in, so that they can then focus more on adding elements instead of putting all the information on there. The students will also have access to the project rubric, which is here, which just outlines how that final presentation will be graded for them. Lastly, the students will use the Google reflection form, and here's a screenshot of it right here, just to go over and provide me with feedback with how everything went, how they felt about the project, any changes that they think should be made in the future. So now that I have actually implemented this project, I can definitely say I really enjoyed implementing this lesson with my students, and I could tell that it was more meaningful to them than just solving problems on a worksheet. They were really excited to choose their location and create the weather reports. They also understood how the data helped influence the reports they made. In terms of digital tools, it was easy for the students to collect data in the Google Doc and create their presentations. I will say that until the county resolves the issues with Canva access, I will just utilize Google Slides next year. The students who used their own Canva accounts enjoyed the tools that were available to them, but it did require personal accounts, which isn't the best. Lastly, the students were able to create their screencast videos using Screencastify. It was easy to walk everyone through how to add the add-on to their Chrome browser and link to their Google Drives. I was able to utilize student volunteers to go around and help other students who needed more hands-on guidance. All of the students were able to create their screencast videos with extra time to spare using the free version of the tool. Next year, I would like to implement a way for students to post their videos and respond to each other, but I don't want to overwhelm the students with too many digital tools. The feedback that I received from the Google form will help me with implementation next year.